Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can improve the secure score of your tenant, right? So there would be a question or there might be a discussion why we wanted to improve a secure score of the tenant, right? And how we can do that even if we have a pure cloud environment, then also we can improve a secure score by making a right set of configurations across the tenant for different workloads within the tenant, right? So different workloads includes identity, applications, data, and you will see those workloads here, and apps, obviously. So these are the workloads where the secure score is going to be increased, and basis on that we would be increasing. So here you see a card, which is Microsoft secure score, and this is a dashboard where we can see all the different cards across the organization, right? And if I wanted to go ahead and improve my tenant secure score, right, then how I can improve it, what are the things I need to do, I'm going to show you that all of the details here. Also, I'm going to show you how we can improve secure score, right? So let's jump on. So I'm in a part, I'm logged into the Defender portal here at security.microsoft.com portal, right? And once we are here, we can simply go to secure score under the exposure management tab. So currently that was rebranded or moved from different tabs, and you can see there are a bunch of other tabs here at left side, right? So let's go here, and I am in the secure score section, and you see there are different tabs: overview, recommended actions, history, and metrics and trends. Yeah, so these are the different tabs, and from each of these we can go ahead and deploy right set of uh, secure score recommendations that we need to improve on, right? Also here you see current secure score is 64.03% for the organization or for this tenant, right? And also you see actions to review. So there are uh, regressed actions which are 11. Regressed means those are already lapsed due to the time period when we didn't take the appropriate actions to complete those recommendations first, and that is why it becomes regressed. The second is to address. To addressed is something where we need to go ahead and work on that, and once we complete those recommendations, then we'll achieve a score, and how the score is going to be impacted. Let's say plus 1.95%, and then status shows to address. So these are the recommendations that we need to address, and you see the category. So which recommendations falls under which category, so it is going to showcase here. So here it shows identity, then apps, and so there are a bunch of different categories, right? And also you see the history where we have achieved the certain score on different recommendations by working on it or by following the secure recommendations, right? And that is why we see some history here as well, and we have some resources and some details from Microsoft side, right? So as a security administrator or as a Intune administrator or as a global administrator, right? So this becomes a part of their work, and I'll tell you why it becomes a part of Intune administrator as well, because there are many configurations that needs to happen from Intune side in the context of devices, in the context of applications, in the context of services, or maybe in the context of configuration policies and all other configurations that we generally do management of Intune or the devices and applications from Intune side instead of doing it from the Defender portal. Why? Because Defender portal and Intune portal both are working together with the different configurations for endpoint security, and all of those configurations which are in conjunction with and both are working together with hand in hand capabilities, right? So now we talked about that. So now let's jump on to the recommendation section, where I will show you how you can go ahead and work on all of these recommendations and how you can improve secure score. Okay, so let's jump on. I'll click on recommendations actions or recommended actions, and you see here I have all those recommended actions. So let's wait. Perfect. Here we have total 107 items that we need to work on or we need to address, right? And here we see all of those, right? And you see many of them are already completed. So we can filter out, let's say, the let me filter from here if the status is completed, or we will just target two address for now, because we just wanted to work on those and not all. So to address we have 45, but in total we saw 107, right? So now we will focus on 45 which are under the to address status, where we need to go ahead and work on all of those, right? So let's jump on, and you once you are in a recommended actions tab, you see the product, which product it aligns with or which product it is relevant to, right? And then it also shows the last synchronized date, and then the category, which category it is for, and then the main focus here is going to be the product. Let's say even if it is application, then you see the Microsoft Enter ID is the product where this policy needs to be configured and set it up, right? So this way we know or how we can configure, then it is going to let us know. So let's jump on and I'll show you how we can configure it. So let's click on this one, and now once we click it, I'll resize this screen a bit. So once we click on it, we see some description, also we see details at the top, right? And then we see description, then implementation status. You have 100 on 100 users that don't have legacy authentication blocked. That means we need to block the legacy authentication on it. And here it shows users accessing apps don't support modern authentication will no longer be able to access them with this policy enabled. And here it shows the user impact or users would be affected. So it says all of your Microsoft 365 users will be affected of this change, right? So any configurations or any recommendations that we are going to do from here, those are going to impact users and devices and applications at certain point or at certain level across the organization. So it is recommended, and it is also to know that what would be the impact of that recommendation or change if we enable that, if we disable it, or if we make those changes as per the recommended actions. And if those are going to impact the users and applications and devices, then definitely we should take appropriate actions so that it is not going to impact the users, applications, and devices, so that we don't want end users to be impacted, and they don't, or they should not be impacted, and they should be able to get the resources and applications and services those needed for them to work on their daily jobs, right? Also, at the top or at the right side, you see the under details tab. Here we see the points achieved, currently 0, because this recommendation is not yet completed and we haven't worked on it so far. Under that, you see history tab. Here there's one event associated with this recommendation, and then category shows under identity. The product falls under the Microsoft Enter ID, and the most important part of this is protects against password cracking and account breach. So how this policy or this recommendation is going to help us improve our secure score as well as overall security posture of the tenant, right? So it's going to help our tenant to be protected more from these contexts where password cracking and account breach is going to be disabled. Why? Because the legacy protocol which are part of authentication or the part of authentications under the legacy requirements or legacy authentications includes IMAP, SMTP, and POP3, right? So these are those protocols which are not supported by a modern authentication, as well as those does not work with modern authentication at all. Instead, Microsoft has recommended to disable those in tenants. In most of the cases, those should be disabled if we have such requirements where we need to keep that enabled for particular applications or particular service or particular use case that we are doing across the tenant, right? And that is when we would have to keep that enabled for particular account. Otherwise, we should definitely move out of those legacy authentications or legacy systems and protocols. So I'll show you how we can create. Here is the button shows manage in Microsoft Enter ID, or also here is an option for us to copy this link, email, or share it on Microsoft Teams if we wanted to notify a respective team or group of people or someone from the team, right? So this way we can do that from here as well. And at the top you see implementation tab. Here we get you have Enter ID Premium Plan 2. That's the prerequisites for this to be completed or set up this policy. And there are certain steps that we should take in order to complete this, as well as what are the additional steps we should take to make sure this is completed and we don't lack into this policy or this situation again. Also, we have some resources here from Microsoft side that we can use and understand from this context. And then we have history. So under history you see there was one alerts or activity generated which says 8 points regressed because more users are affected. So it means that currently we have legacy authentication active and is available, and it is not yet blocked across the tenant, right? So to block that, we simply need to go here, and then I'm going to show you how to do that. So click on manage Entra ID or manage Microsoft Entra ID here, and this is going to redirect us to portal.azure.com under the conditional access policies tab. And from here we need to go ahead under the new policy from templates, right? So from here we will see different tabs again on the different contexts. So I'm not going to go through each of those. I'm going to focus only on block legacy authentication for now, and then we'll create the policy to disable the legacy authentication protocols, which we talked about: SMTP, POP3, IMAP, right? So I have selected that one, and I can simply click on next, where I'm going to review and click or close, and then I'm going to click on. So I wanted this policy to be created, as well as this should be blocking all the legacy authentications clients as well as the applications, right, which are working on those legacy authentications. So I'm going to do that and click on create. So now this is going to create a conditional access policy for us, and that's direct and straightforward because the template which we have selected here has all the configurations needed for it to be configured automatically, and that is ready for us to see. So now I have created this one. You see, I can click on it, and I can also rename it if I wanted to do that. Also, you see, it has automatically added or excluded my user account, and then it has selected all the users. Also, it has picked up all the cloud applications automatically for me, and then the conditions as well. So you see, there are two client applications that are blocked currently because we don't want those to be allowed at all. And then you see the selected those, and then conditions is set to block, right? So that means this policy or this template is pretty straightforward, and it does uh, do, or it does block all the legacy protocols in one go without doing anything. So now let me save this policy again as I renamed the policy. And all right, so this policy is created for us, and this is how you can improve on your secure score as well as. So this was just one example, but there are many such recommendation actions that we can take, and also you can do it from, depend on the actions where that actions is part of. Let's say this action was part of enter id, and that is why it redirected us to the enter id. And if it was from intune, then that should be something that we need to do it from intune side, right? So now I'm at Defender portal again, and here's the option for us to edit status and action plan. Because we have implemented the change, now we have to complete this action from here, so that this is going to be completed and it is going to give us the score as in the points which we saw earlier. It was 0 and out of 8. So once we complete this, after a few hours, all those 8 points will be automatically added to our secure score, and then it will help us to improve our secure score. So now let's click on this, and I will put that here. Or else simply what I will do is I will go ahead and refresh this page instead, and let's wait for it to come back. It does not change the settings or anything immediately, as it needs to be synced across the different environments altogether, and then it has to be verified with different services altogether. All right, so let's click on this, and yeah, it is not yet synchronized. So we will go ahead and we will select any of these, and here we will select it. So currently the completed is grayed out for us because this is still not yet synchronized. So if we wait till the synchronization, then we will get the completed button, and then we can go ahead and complete it, right? And if we don't want to wait for that, we can simply go ahead and select any of these, and then put a note here, and then save and close this change. So I'll just go through the last option, resolve through alternate mitigation. This means that we have implemented another solution than Microsoft native solution, and that is why we can or we have selected this last option. The second last is resolved through third party. That means if we have any third party tool or system, and we have done that configuration through third party solution, then we will select this. The risk is accepted. This means that we are ready to accept the risk about these recommendations. So for example, if we have any applications or user accounts who have the legacy authentication protocols enabled, that means those are vulnerable over the internet and over the access levels, right? And that is why we have to either accept it, and if we accept it with the risk, then that means we are ready to accept the risk as it is, or whatever it is. And then if we set to planned means we are planning that to be implemented or deployed across the tenant after some time, or maybe whenever we are going to do, and to address, we are going to do that, or that is yet to be addressed, right, and yet to be completed. So this way we will be addressing all of those, and the complete is going to simply complete it, and then it should be providing the points across. So let's give it a description or action here. I'll add completed by Entra ID conditional access policy, right? So I'm just accepting it and should be done here. So now once it is accepted, this is going to give us the points after some time, and it is not going to accept or complete that immediately, as it needs to be synchronized within the tenant and from different workloads from enter id to defender portal and vice versa, right? So that needs to happen. Until and unless it happens, it does not make any changes or it does not impact anything there, right? So this is how you can improve on secure score, right? And also it totally depends on what are the different recommendations you got for your tenant or for your organization, right? If we have hybrid environment, then there would be lot many different recommendations. Those would be popped up here basis on the current infrastructure. And if we have hybrid, then it is going to analyze the devices as well as user identities, then applications, and then data. So all of those are the different workloads where this is going to analyze. So analyzation is going to be part of defender portal, which is going to, as well as the different workloads altogether, and all those recommendations would be popped up here under the recommendation for secure score improvement. And then we have to take the appropriate actions in order to improve on secure score, right? So this way we can improve on, as well as we would have to work on it so that our secure score is going to be improved. And then we can take the appropriate actions to make sure. And the main question might come, why we wanted to improve the secure score. We wanted to, or we have to, or we must improve secure score. So there are different reasons to it. So first thing would be security, second thing would be compliance requirements, and third thing could be auditing purposes as well. When companies are dealing or doing business in different countries, different locations, right, and they have to be compliant for that respective country and locations, and they would be doing their internal as well as external audits, and they have to showcase that they are compliant enough, right? So to be compliant, they have to make sure their systems, applications, and data and identities, everything are in compliant, and the systems are up to date with everything as in compliance and security policies on it, right? And that too without impacting the end users, applications, and systems and business, right? That is all also important at the same time. So this is not something today we found many recommendations and we will go ahead and deploy that. It is not going to do, or it is not going to happen that way. There's a lot more planning and discussion needs to happen, where if we are going to do this uh, conditional access policy for blocking legacy authentication, then we need to know how it is going to impact the users, applications, services, the data that is a part of our organization, and how it is going to impact. For example, we have a legacy application that needs SMTP protocol be using, or that needs that SMTP to be working, for that to be communicating with different services, right? And if we disable it, then simply it is going to be disabled for the users, as well as the application itself is not going to work for people, and that means it is going to impact the business, right? So this is how there is going to be a discussion and a lot more planning about it, and then take the further actions. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you will like it. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and also share with your community and friends and your circle. So yeah, that's it, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.